What I wanted to bring to your attention right now was the art of the old school fish and chippery is not dead. I've found one around my local area, and there's been talk recently about like a spud shortage.
Yeah, I didn't realise there was one until I went for a feed at the Jubilee Hotel with a few work colleagues Friday lunchtime, and on the menu it said all meals served with rustic fries or whatever, rustic chips. And the chips that came out, I was like, rustic? More like the shells that these are on in Woolies are rusty because no one buys chips like this. So yeah, there's a spud shortage.
Yes, but not at this joint.
They overload with the chips.
Mate, so I got a cheesy bee from this place. I like a burger from a fish and chippery. I feel like they do it a little bit differently.
So it's like a homemade style burger.
Yeah, exactly. So I got that with a side of chips, potato scallop, of course, chicken salt,
of course,
and with gravy,
of course.
Didn't cost more than $20.
No, I wouldn't have.
And the amount of chips, I looked at it, I'm like, that's $3 worth of chips. It was unbelievable.
Oh, mate, sometimes they go absolutely nuts, bonkers. Well, there was a fish and chip shop. Well, it's still near me, but where we used to live together in Tenerife, called Fishers. And yeah, they were pretty good with their chip serving. So how is the I guess like the texture, what sort of chip we talking, like the sort of thicker cut chip?
Yeah, it was like rectangles.
Yeah. So like real like a mashy potato-y type chippies.
Yeah, they weren't your A1.
Like they weren't wedges.
Like they weren't beer battered.
No.
Which was a shame, but for the sheer amount of potato that was in my gut, I feel like I was pretty satisfied.
You would have made, that's a feed that would make a lot of Irish people happy. That feed.
I reckon.
I had a Subway last night. It was delicious.
Yeah? What's your Subway order?
Hey, this is a topic. This is like my iron out the weirdos question that I ask. What do you order at Subway? And depending on what they answer is it paints a pretty grim picture sometimes or a positive one.
You might be struck from the record.
You might be. I actually change it up a bit, but typically I'm either going, like if I'm getting it as like a Friday night after I've had a few beers, this is a different order to what I'd get if I'm like having lunch on a weekday type operation. But my order last night was a pizza sub. Yeah. When they ask, do you want marinara sauce? Obviously, dickhead. Otherwise, I wouldn't have ordered the pizza sub. Italian herbs and cheese, cheddar cheese, toasted, lettuce, Tommy, onion, carrot, pickles, and then as well as the marinara sauce that's already on, usually like a Southwest on top.
Yeah, marinara Southwest is undefeated.
Such a good combination.
It's the best. I had a Subway during the week. Chicken classic.
Great sub.
I wanted it on the rye, but they had 2 6-inches. I was like, don't you dare.
As a former sandwich artist, mate, you are more well placed than the majority of people to comment on what's good and what's not at Subway.
If you ever see that 2 6-inches just laying there and they're like, is that okay? Tell them no, because they are there from the day before. Guaranteed.
Yeah, no.
So, Italian herbs and cheese, foot long, chicken classic. No cheese because I have mine fresh.
Yeah.
And then with, pretty much all the salads.
Yeah, no, that's a good sub. That's a sub that I've probably ordered myself.
Marinara Southwest.
Yeah, okay.
Salt and pepper, bang.
S&P, yeah, of course.
You know who might have had some spuds last night was bloody Johnny Allen.
Johnny Allen, he might have.
In
the
celebration.
Irishman. Yeah. Did he ride 3 or 2 in the end?
Well, he won the Blue Diamond.
Johnny Allen.
Yeah. Little Brose?
No, that was Mickey D.
We'll disregard that then.
Little Brose.
Well, he won at least a couple.
He did. He did.
Yeah, and it was a month of outs for Johnny, so it was good to see. But should we delve into what was a fantastic day of racing?
Big day of racing, yes.
Let's start with the Group 1s. The Blue Diamond. We had about half the field in our $100 strategies. And I reckon we, both of our powers combined, we just about broke even. But Little Brose, well found by you.
Yeah, I liked his run in behind Barber in the prelude. I think if you, I think he just drew to have a better run in the Diamond as opposed to Barber, which ended up eventuating. I don't think he, he should be going into the Golden Slipper as a favourite or anything like that. But it was a good win. He had the right run. He's a good looking colt. Yeah, happy for the young Hayes boys. That's an enormous win. He's a colt, so stallion making race, as they say. Really well done. I thought Brave Halo was incredibly brave. And then your on toppy did Steel City end up being your on top selection?
Yep.
Bit unlucky.
Well, Blake Shin post race in the Futurity said I should be 2 from 2 here. He was brutal. He's like, I feel sick, but half an hour is a long time in horse racing. He's like, and he was almost going like, it's a full credit to me for bouncing back so quick.
Yeah, I just want to give a full credit, not to the boys, but to me.
Like, if Steel City gets out, all of her momentum was gone. She had none.
Yeah, no.
But even early in the race, I thought she was over racing a bit. So I was like, you know what? If she gets clear, she probably goes close, but I'm not as sick on that race as others throughout the day.
No. There was one standout. But I think the Steel City, watching her, I watched the replay this morning, and watching her trying to get out, let's say if she does, and let's say she maybe finishes second by a neck or something like that, doesn't that make the Red Resistance learning to fly form look even better?
Well, that's the thing. It's like that form has stood up in Sydney again.
Yeah.
And like the Barber form through Corinche.
Yep.
And the Little Brose form.
Little Brose.
That's all of that has stood up. So, I think the good 2-year-olds are really standing up. I think it's becoming a clearer picture.
Oh yeah, 100%.
On your boy Brave Halo, I thought Ollie did the best he could. He was basically 4 wide with cover behind VC, and VC without cover ran last.
Yeah.
So Brave Halo, unbelievable run. So much so he actually had they nicked his legs throughout the run. So yeah, he has to be inspected by vets. So
wow,
he's
that's
had
a tough run.
He's had a really tough run. Yep.
Yeah.
I think there's basically 4 that I want to take from the race. Little Brose, yes. Don Corleone was held up from the 4 to the 2. He savaged the line, but just got way too far back. Mark Zara, sensational booking.
He's such a good jockey, man.
Yeah. Brave Halo, as it mentioned. The other one was the second starter, Extreme Threat for Mick Price Jr. Her second ever start, she was 4th in running, heading at the 400 metres, and she was the best of those on-speed runners.
Yep.
She finished 5th, so I think, yeah, she has a lot of upside.
Yeah, so what are they thinking with her? Take her to a slipper if that's her only second ever start?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so. But prize money, that sort of thing, depends if she gets in the field.
Yep.
So, Little Brose, well done. Turning a profit there. Congratulations to you. The Futurity. I said on the podcast, to my peril, I'm not backing Alligator Blood. And to my peril, it was. He was just far too good.
Yeah, he was good. he's turned into a bit of a bomb-proof horse, Alligator Blood, because he leads and he's hard to run over the top of. We were saying on the live stream yesterday post race, like, where do you take him to? And I think both you and Brad said Queen Elizabeth, and I don't know. I just don't. I think he's a perfect 1400 to mile horse because he puts himself in a really good position. Typically, those Group 1 weight for age races, they're done at a pretty slow pace, so he can just clip off some cheap sectionals and hold them off. Whereas I don't think he has that capability as he stretches out over further to 2000. Although he has won a Group 1 over 1800 metres.
Yeah. I tend to agree. If they wanted to go down that direction for the 2,000 metres, the Queen Elizabeth is not the race.
No.
The race for him is the Australia Cup.
Yeah, 100%.
Because that is the B graders competing in a Group 1, and I think it is the week after the All-Star Mile.
Right, okay.
So, unless it's the same day, let me quickly check that, because I could just be talking out my bumhole right now.
It could be the fish and chippery coming out of your bumhole. Yeah. Look, I think... Alligator Blood was, in hindsight, a little bit of a no-brainer. My concern with him was the first up run, but the Waterhouse and Bots table have him fit and fire and ready to go, mate. But
that's why I was happy to risk him, because those jump outs and trials, he was flat, and like first up in the Memsey last in the spring, he was big as a house.
He was big.
And he looked big on the weekend, but I thought, it's just too strong. And there was nothing up there to really...
No.
Nugget went up there and was a little bit of a flyer, but he faded out to last.
As soon as Mr. Maestro or Mr. Mozart was scratched from the race, I was like, well, the Blood's just going to have a pretty easy time of it up front. I was surprised that Nugget rolled forward.
Yeah. So my prediction is All-Star Mile, 1 week back up into the Australia Cup. Or after he wins the All-Star Mile, I think he's the clear on top selection now.
Yeah, I think so. I'd rather be taking him over I'm Thunderstruck. That's for sure.
And you were, with a lot of other people, I think, were 100% right with Mr. Brightside. He's come back a very, very good horse. A way for age horse, this prep, I think.
I think so.
Especially at that 1,400 to mile. I think you've nailed that. Thunder and I need to see other people.
Yeah, mate. He's a nonny. I said it. I said it on the podcast. 1 from 12, now 1 from 13 in his last 13 starts. I think you have to take him back. You have to take him back because he's not as dynamic when you roll him forward as what we saw yesterday. Okay, cool. Well, you take him back. As I just said, those Group 1 weight for age races are barely ever run at a genuine pace. So he's going to be running really nicely into a lot of seconds and thirds, mate. But like he'll still win more races and he'll still win big races, but he just needs everything to go his way.
Yeah, I agree. In the Stewards report, my Oberon had a exercise-induced pulmonary hemorrhage.
It's not a laughing matter.
So that's why he was so slow.
Oh no.
Thank God I'm not a doctor.
Yeah.
Oakleigh Plate.
Cracking race,
but I've learnt a lot of things this weekend.
Okay.
I need to stop backing back markers. I need to. Like, Lofty was an unbelievable run, right?
Yeah.
But he was also going past, like, the sectional data is actually not on racing.com right now. So, it's all the data on there at the moment is, like, pretty whack. He's going to run some pretty slick time going home, right? To the eye, it was sensational. But he was also running past a lot of slow ones.
Yeah.
And you actually look at the last 100, he kind of, like, peaks out on his run. Uncommon James is pretty strong through the line.
He was. Yeah, he was strong through the line. Well on to Benny Thompson, first Group 1 winner. And he was a bit of a last-minute pick because Damien Lane typically rides Uncommon James. And then I think maybe Ethan Brown was going to ride him or something like that. and then he was serving a suspension. So, yeah, Benny Thompson was flowing in from Brisbane and got the chockies. He's ridden the horse a few times before, so well done, mate. Lofty Strike was, that was, I couldn't believe the price that he was in the week, and the punters started coming for him.
Started $6.
Yeah. But I think that was probably the right price. I think he should have gone up that price.
I felt like, because I waited till the race to back him, and to my detriment. But I almost felt like in a race that open, I was like, I feel like I'm taking unders here. I feel like it should have been closer to like $7-8 the field. That was just my kind of like gut feel. It was so bloody open, but the good people at Ned's pretty much nailed the market. Asfura running third. She exceeded my expectations. You're on top selection. And then Uncommon James was about that $9.50. And then, Lofty was the $6 favourite. So they've pretty much nailed the race.
Yeah, 100%. No, look, I put Uncommon James in my $100 betting strategy because he had done nothing wrong, literally, and because of that price that he was. $9 or $10 with Ned's, put him in my numbers. But yeah, I thought Asura was a clear on top selection for me. So running third, good job. And she was sort of in the first 4 or 5 for pretty much the entire race. And she was okay, so she'll still win some good races, I think. Asura.
Zoo Style stuck on really well. He finished 5th in the race.
He went so quick up front.
Mate, he's pretty good. I think he's even more better at like 1,000 meters, to be honest.
He'll win stakes races, Group 2s, Group 3s.
Yeah, I think so. But yes, for our $100 strategies there, I think my $27 Quinella got up there, which was nice. So a couple of weeks in a row, the Quinellas have struck. So that's why. Surround Stakes, in secret. Does she stick to 1,200 metres now?
Yes. Yeah, I think so. I still think she's good enough to win big races over 1,400 metres, but that's the limit for her. 7 furlongs, yeah. She's a good sprinter, mate. So yeah, if I was, well, they're taking it to the new market now, right? So that's a no-brainer.
It's in my notes to talk about that race. That's a fascinating race now. So your 3 favourites are going to be I Wish I Win, In Secret, and Lofty Strike.
Yeah.
All of them are going to be up the arse end.
Yeah.
Flemington, arguably, like not as big of an issue down the straight, but especially if they fan, they might only need to make up like that 3 or 4 lengths. But gee whiz, it's gonna make it interesting.
Yeah. Well, I think if you wait to see what the race shape is, right? Once the final field's assembled. You're right. If there's something that's pretty lightly weighted, that's a good horse on the up, that's a clear front runner, you chuck it into your numbers maybe.
Well, here's the market, right? With the good people at Ned's. It's I Wish I Win 350, In Secret 450, Private Eye 7s. First up, he could give it a shake. He beat Rockin' Horse by 3 lengths down the straight first up.
Yeah. Yep.
Giga Kick. At 9s. Probably sit about midfield. Lofty, Coolangatta, don't think she's heading that way. Marzu, Rockin' Horse.
Marzu. The big fella. Okay, so who's a leader?
Yeah.
In that field.
I'm looking down the page. Best of Bordeaux, haven't heard anything about him. Passive Aggressive, don't know. September Run, probably. She's been versatile.
Zoo Style go to the race now?
Maybe.
Like, is there a few out of the Oakleigh Plate who go to the race? Like, there's an Uncommon James?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, they've got the Group 1 now. Like,
yeah.
Overpass. If Lost and Running's heading there, he's $17.
Jeez. He's been an unlucky horse, hasn't he, Lost and Running?
Baller's 21.
Yeah. So anyway, that'll be a fascinating race. But, yeah, mate, you said on the live stream yesterday that race made you feel sick.
Oh.
Sick to your tummy.
I was throwing up for several reasons.
Talk us through it.
Well, firstly, Ruthless Dame, from about 1,000 metres in left in the race, only 400 metres in, she was 3 wide, no cover. I was like, you're kidding me. And then she just kept grinding away, getting into her work, and she only really got into it the last 100, 150.
Yeah.
And then past the post, Tyler's giving it these ones. And I was like, oh, beauty, he's got up here. And then, lo and behold, she's lost by a fucking more than a nose. It's like this far.
Tyler,
what are you doing,
He's
mate?
gone the early crow. You can't go the early crow unless you're Anamoe. And you're Darren Flindell.
I was reading the stewards report, or like what the jockey said.
And
he did not mention it once.
No, Tyler,
I was like,
no. Tyler, no. I gave him a bit of a stroke on the podcast this week as well.
So did I.
Well, like, he's a good jockey. He's striking well.
All things considered, she was like pretty much the run of the race, I think. Zugotcha was very good as well. She was very fresh though.
She was very fresh. She did a bit of work to get into that spot. If she draws an inside gate, I'm just going to put my dick on the table and put my Zoo tinted glasses on and say that she wins by a length if she draws a gate.
Yeah, I disagree. She was over racing. I think she was just too fresh.
Fresh as a daisy.
Yeah, like if you give, if you give Ruthless Dame a easier run, I think she wins. Like I think she's the one that stuck on better than any of them. And Sunshine in Paris was very, very good. I think she's definitely been underrated.
Yeah, she was rock hard fit, mate. Yeah. Annabelle Neesham's a good trainer. But no, yeah, I truly believe that if Sue drew a gate, she would have won. Well, despite being fresh, which I tell you what, for the Coolmore Classic, which is where she's heading, she'll be very hard to beat.
Okay. I want to read you some poetry almost about Anamoe. James McDonald, Anamoe, on pre-race and the run. He was just a real lad in the gates.
He's just a lad, isn't he?
I had Hinged next to me. It was just sparking up on him a little bit, being there for a little while. Not too long, but just enough to get him a little bit agitated being a stallion. But he was curled up and exploded today. He was so wicked.
Well said, J-Mac. Do you know why? Because he wanted to show Hinge what he had. He was like, check this out, darling. He's good, isn't he?
Oh, God. So he said the Rosehill Guineas, the Caulfield Guineas, the list goes on. He was spectacular. I think the best one was the size produce. That was arrogant.
That was arrogant, mate.
So, Anamoe, feeling a bit Tim Payne.
He's feeling FIH. Tim Payne horny. Hey, rightfully so. He's still got his nuts, the big fella.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it?
It is funny. He's just an animal.
Seeing Hinge, he's like,
She's a good-looking little mare. Hinged. There might be a date for the two of them one day.
Hey, they might see each other at Magic Millions one year. Like the Gold Coast.
They might.
Out at Surfers Paradise.
They might make some good, honest progeny. That's for sure.
Nothing more to say. Like he missed the jump a little bit, but far out, he was sensational.
That's the best win he's had since the Rosehill Guineas, mate. Rosehill Guineas, he was like, see yous. Yeah. And he was eased down, whereas this today, he just put him to the sword. And was he in the running? Was he back half of the field? Would you say? So he hasn't won that frequently from being in the back half of the field, has he?
It's only his second win from that far back. You know what? Let's just watch it. We'll watch the last 400. So might take it back to like the 600 or so. All right, so there he is there. So he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 in running at the 600. J-Max come, and he's behind Arapaho, he's a
slow horse.
He's pretty slow. But look at him. He's tailing Hinge.
Yeah, he's going after Hinged in the running. He loses side where he's like, oh, okay, I guess I'll just put him away then. Do you know who was good? Montefilia.
She was, yeah, no thanks. Moanga was better. Fangirl was very good. But look at J-Mac here looking at the screen. Hands and heels. Stands up in the irons. You know, yeah, and we said this on the live stream yesterday as well. Lords of Indices, if he gets to a Group 2, Group 3 contest,
very hard to beat.
I reckon he's a shout in the Doncaster, actually, because they'll probably take him to that type of race and he probably won't have that much weight.
No.
He keeps running, you know, 4th, 5th in these types of races.
Yeah, and he's definitely got the ability to win a big race like that with down in the weights, I think. Yeah, good shout.
When you run 3rd in like a Hong Kong mile or whatever it was, Group 1 over there, like he's pretty good. He's very good, but
yeah.
And he's shown some versatility in his last couple of preps. He can sit closer to the speed as well.
Anamoe's a smart horse. You see how much he's eased down?
Yeah.
At the end, like as soon as he hit the winning post, he just stopped running because he's like, that's all I needed to do, bro.
He got you know that length 2 lengths ahead, and you could just see him. He's like, all right, job done.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah.
He is probably going to finish his career, and he'll probably be my favourite horse ever, which is a big statement. Yeah, I just love him.
All right. We have places to be, things to do, so let's crack through the rest of these. Let's go 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, and then the older horses again. So with the 2-year-olds, the undercard features at Randwick, there was 2 races. So there was the Skyline, Corinche for Godolphin, mate. They are by far the best trainers, 2-year-olds.
Yep.
Then Waterhouse, Snowdens.
Snowdens are awesome. Friedman's are pretty good. But yeah, they're just so professional, mate. Like they've got awesome manners. They put themselves in the right spot. A lot of their wins as 2-year-olds are sort of workmanlike, I think. And that's a big thing for the juveniles, as you know, mate, better than most. They just need to be the ones who are the professional ones at that age are the ones who can win the big races, put themselves in the right spot.
Yeah, 100%. And Corinche has franked that little Brose in barber form. So
little Brose.
Shinzo took an age to wind up. I think he's just looking for further.
He's got some ability, that horse, for sure.
Yeah. The Sweet Embrace. Prior to the race, I just had a bad feeling. I don't know. I just wanted to stay right out of it, and I think you can actually be forgiven, or not you, but like the horse Skirt the Law can be forgiven. She's been sent to the paddock now, and she had a poor recovery after the race.
Right, okay.
So there is an explanation there for her being such a short price favourite and running really poorly. But that learning to fly Millennium form is stacking up.
Yeah, 100% it is. Lazzago, the winner of the race, I actually ended up backing her in the Millennium, and she ran a really nice
5th or so.
Yeah, something like that. No, that was a smart win, I think. Huey Bowman.
Yeah. No, Huey's in fantastic form.
Yeah, he's smashing it in Hong Kong, isn't he?
Yeah. Run of the race for me was Facile. Now, she was my on-top selection in the Millennium, but I just wanted to see it again, and she was fantastic. 3 wide, no cover, on speed, would have covered much more ground than the others, and doing it the hard way without cover. She reminds me, and I said this last time, Best of Bordeaux as a 2-year-old. That real tenacity, willing to, she gets eyeballed and then she keeps going.
Yep.
Tagaloa, mate. Tagaloa showed the exact same tendencies. So I think on the day, the boys, so Corinche's race was about two lengths or so quicker than the girls.
Right, okay, yeah, okay.
Yep.
So, to your point, we're all tying all of this form through to a couple of horses, and they're starting to make themselves pretty apparent, mate. So the Golden Slipper picture, as it tends to do, is getting a bit clearer.
It is. The 3-year-olds, so race 2 at Sandown, the Armanasco Stakes. Shuffle Dancer, this was a nice win. 3 wide, no cover. I think they're a pretty even bunch, though. Yeah.
I was on the Sydney horse, the Gerald Ryan and
Di.
Sterling Alexio horse called Di. She was good, and Ollie was in a tough position for the entire race. So to get her to sort of come through the middle and finish third, I'd definitely back her again over further.
Yeah. So the Sydney the Sydney filly finished third, but then the Sydney gelding recommendation just came up and was far too good. And you know, if you're a I keep calling it think it over, think about it fan who won the 8th or 9th race in Sydney, well, this thing finished behind it, and then it's come out and beaten the
Melbourne types,
the Melbourne 3-year-olds. So this race was the Zeditave Stakes was about 1.2 lengths slower than the 2-year-old Group 1. So the 2-year-olds have actually gone quicker than the 3-year-olds. You're on Spacewalk, I believe.
Yep.
Second protest that he has lost.
Yeah.
In Melbourne.
Yeah, wow, interesting. Ran into third, and then it was obviously relegated to fourth. He over-raced a bit, which he can do, you know. And I think when he gets it right, he's a hard horse to beat. But as we're seeing, he doesn't get it right super often.
Yeah, 100%. Autumn Classic, Pericles.
Yeah.
It's kind of like not D-Day, but you wanted to see him do something like that.
Yeah. I was keen on him, and the bookies got it right with the price. And a lot of people probably would have backed Pericles, I think. I was on him last start, and he was a little bit disappointing. So James Cummings during the week, being interviewed on RSN, said you can't geld them twice. So they needed him to do something, and he did. He was brilliant. So where to for him? Just the Derby types.
Yeah, I'd say so. I don't know. Maybe maybe a Rosehill Guineas or something. I'm not 100% still convinced that he's a 24, 2500 meter type. Like maybe at his own age, yes, but like Mr. Maestro, I think he needed another lap.
He's a slow horse, isn't he?
He is slow, but he was getting go. He was rapiding home.
Was,
but again, he's a back marker, and it's like I prefer to back those Muramasa types who, yes, he was a back marker last start, but in those big staying races, he will be forward. Like he'll be up there in the running, doing it the hard way.
Yep.
Here's a question I want to ask you: is Osbred Rising Sun possibly the worst named horse in Australia?
It's a terrible name. Yeah, I hate that. I hate the put in the name of the horse, the Osbred. Like he's not the Autumn Sun, and it sounds like the Autumn Sun. Oh, gross. No, icky.
I backed Yusaki in the race, and it was he did
Yasuki.
He did Yusaki. He was just way too far.
Hey, we're good at backing slow horses, mate. We put it out there.
We're the authorities. The older horses, right you are, just put them away. Found Declare was good.
Yep.
The Mannerism, Espiona. She paid the believers, mate.
Oh, I'm still in a big black hole with her, even after backing her in that race. Oh, like we said on the podcast, mate, you couldn't let her go around in Melbourne with some intent from Chris Waller and at that price not have cash on her, mate.
Yeah. I think, and this might be recency bias, but I think I've only backed her twice. And it was first start where I was like, okay, she's not winning this, she'll never win again. But then when she's in a 6-horse field in Melbourne.
Oh, you just have to.
On a rock hard deck. I was like, if it's not now, it's never.
It's not now, it's never.
And you got a price to fly.
Yeah. So, no, that was, thank God. Thank God. So that might be her, mate. That might be her. Stick her in the sort of lower level, Group 2s, Group 3s in Melbourne. If she wins a lot of those, tell you what, she'll be worth something as a brood, man.
Lizzie Jelfs made the point after the race. She was like, I beg Chris Waller to just keep this filly in Melbourne. But regardless, she is possibly the most overhyped horse in Australia over the last 12 months because she's not, like those fillies are good, right?
Yeah.
Those mares are good, but like they're still not absolute superstars. So it's like, the Finged and Fangirls have gone way past her.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
They're genuine Group 1 weight for age mares. Fangirl, yeah. Against her own sex on a dry deck.
Yep.
Good luck beating her.
Yep. Peter Young. So denied knowledge. This was the Keats and denied knowledge race at Sandown. So denied knowledge. Actually, they lost the saddle. So it went loose. So the jockey couldn't actually like pull it up and go like, "Hey, woo, 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 boy, girl." And from that, that's why you saw the massive 5-length lead. Then Keats putting 5 lengths onto the next horse. But Steinem was really, really nice. What I learned from this race was, obviously it was a red hot tempo, but the best athletes in really hard run races will typically win.
Yeah.
Gold Trip didn't win, but he has to be the horse that you take out of it.
100%. I think I said after the race at Tancred, 2,400 metres weight for age. He'll go well there, especially if there's some give in the deck.
Yeah, I think he's been underrated, and it's like the thing is like he's only won the 2 races, but the way that the races are run here, where it's sit and sprint majority of the time at those staying distances, it's like I'm not that surprised now.
Yeah, no.
If he gets a truly run, and knowing Mar Eustace, and this isn't a criticism, they could put a pacemaker out
100%
there.
they could.
Yeah, they did it in the Sir Dragonet Cox Plate with Grand Slam. So you never know. But yeah, Steinem, she was fantastic. But yeah, I also learnt because of that red hot tempo. There's 2 myths that I'm never going to back ever again. Surefire and Young Werter.
Yeah.
They are myths.
Yeah, they are myths, mate. Surefire, that first up run, last prep, got you thinking, geez, this is a genuine horse. He hasn't done anything since. Young Word has only won once. And that was before the Vic Derby. I've backed him plenty of times. To no avail, but no, you're dead right.
Back up to Sydney, race 5, the Guy Walter, my bet of the day, came off here. Hope in Your Heart was sensational.
She was good, mate. I was a little bit nervous because I was on her too. I was a little bit nervous for us at stages throughout the race, but no, she's a good mare, mate, and her form's good.
Yeah, so her form's elite. When you're finishing 4th in the Golden Eagle, and then probably end of prep run, you're still running 3rd in a gong against the likes of. Against the boys, when she's sticking to her own sex, she is right in the conversation. And because I think she's trained by Kerry Parker.
She is, yeah.
Like, she's going to be disrespected in the market for whatever reason. So I think you're going to get a price, and the market suggested that. So she was about $3.20 post Espiona scratching. She got out to $5.30.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Before the race. Like, no one wanted to be on her.
Everyone was on Mirror Vision.
I didn't get that.
I don't understand that at all.
Like, we were talking about that on the live stream. Saw some very good judges tipping Mirror Vision. I was like, okay, everyone's entitled to a mistake. But
okay, everyone's entitled to a mistake.
But it's like her last win was over 70 weeks ago, and she's run really, really well in the Empire Rose the last 2 years, but that would be 5th, 6th run in the prep.
Yeah.
Like, that's, I look at her very similar to an Ice Bath, where she needs an age to get fit, and she needs wet tracks.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. You're dead right. No, well found by you, mate. Well found.
And the last one, Liverpool City Cup, think about it. He was great. Jack Pride has a lot of... He has a really good... gelding here, I think. He's talking Stradbroke with him.
Is he, Jason? Yeah. I it's funny because I backed him the prior 2 starts, but then in this race I was like, this is too much of a step up in grade. But no, he's, you can only beat who you're up against, and Stradbroke, we'll see.
We were both on Quantico. I think second up syndrome from a long layoff.
Yeah.
Probably did.
Forgive
job.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, who was, I guess, your run of the day horse to follow?
Oof. I did really like Gold Trip. He's come back super well, and is certainly one I think will probably win more Group 1s before it's all said and done for him. Aside from that, yeah, I think Anamoe is just he's just gonna put him away in every race, and I think he'll go over to Europe after watching that. And if it's a genuinely run race, a genuinely run tempo, I think he's a chance over there in Royal Ascot.
Yeah, I agree. I think Alligator Blood was sensational. I can't see anything beating him in the All-Star Mile, especially if that's his grand final. Potentially Brightside, but I think Thunder, you're a myth. The fly in the ointment there is the mailbag boys with Keats who own Keats. They're desperate, and he's currently in top 10 voting in the market. And they've said they are basically going to go suicidal speed in the race. So they've already said, like, there needs to be a daring jockey that's willing to take the ride and take the risk in the race, which I'm interpreting that he's a non-speed horse. They're just going to try and steal it. So potentially something like that could bring the likes of Thunder into race, but I would need $8 to find out, I'd say.
Yeah.
Which I don't think you're going to get.
No.
Yeah, so I prefer those likes of Alligator Blood. But Facile was fantastic, but all things considered, Red Resistance is still my pony.
Yeah.
The 2-year-olds. And I thought Hope in Your Heart, she had some of the best sectionals in the day in Sydney. So I'm really liking
to follow her.
Yep.
Yeah. You're dead right, mate. I think Learning to Fly is probably number one for me at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Thank you, Drifters. We have places to be, people to do. People to do?
People to do.
Sure.
Just like Anamoe.
Hey, Root.
See yous.